involves a different specific topic, maybe you might need to provide a brief definition related to that. Or maybe a specific, maybe teaching method. So in this case, if it's maybe not commonly known, maybe clarify what this kind of task involves. Okay? And so of course we have some of the transitions, but before we get into that, before you write the process paragraph, your topic sentence should include the objectives. So what will the students practice? What will they learn? What skills will they improve through this lesson? And so we have the acronym SWBAT. Which stands for? Students will be able to. So students will be able to. And so I included some common verb examples from the 3 phases. Number 1, retrieval. So in this case, recalling information. Oh, so you don't need handouts.
하나밖에 안 먹어. 아, 너무 차가워? 아, 왜 있어? 아, 나 있어.
뭐야? Okay. So you don't necessarily need to use all of these different phases in your topic sentence or when providing the objective, but I just want you to kind of be aware. So once again, retrieval is related to recalling, and so that is important in the warm-up phase. So the warm-up phase is what? For students to kind of predict, for students to recall their background knowledge of the topic. So identify from a list, recognize, define, list, label, describe some things. So first part, trying to have them think about the topic before engaging in the information or the contents. So describing, so obviously sometimes using pictures are obviously a good warm-up strategy. Next, of course, comprehension. So after they engage in the receptive skill, perhaps in order to check comprehension or to show that they comprehended, obviously summarizing, paraphrasing, describing key parts, explaining, illustrating, depicting, giving examples. So all these are related to comprehension. Lastly, the longest is related to critical thinking. So this will be the task afterwards. So usually deductive skill. And so there's some various things. So what will they do with the content or the information that they just learned? And then here are just, obviously there's so many, but here are just some examples. Okay. So when you prepare your assignment, first thing after looking at the lesson content of the plan, try to think about what are the objectives. You could also include kind of more practical information. They'll be able to write a proper email. They'll be able to, or maybe be related to a specific skill or a specific subsection of a skill. They can improve pronunciation in terms of maybe linking words or blending, something like that. Okay? So first thing you're going to do, after looking at it, come up with what you think are the objectives. So first, when you guys look at the assignment or the lesson plan with your group, perhaps try to discuss what you think are the main objectives. If you want, you can use some of the verbs provided in the list, but it is not always fully necessary. Okay. And so, we have the assignment guidelines. So just like with each assignment, I want to give 2 weeks time for you guys to submit it. So this will be due 2 weeks from now. But you will get started today in class while I meet with the students one-on-one. Now, depending on time, if this in-class one-on-one conference is taking too much time, then I might instead take one of the classes and just dedicate that to one-on-one out-of-class interviews. Or not interviews, but one-on-one out-of-class conferences. So we'll see how this goes today, but if it takes too long, then I might have to change this strategy. Okay. So we have the lesson plan here, and as you can see, it's more kind of written in the imperative, right? So as opposed to using any subject. So step 1, ask questions related to the topic, and it gives some examples. Step 2, provide reading text. In this case, for your process writing, you're going to write in the third person, right? So the teacher. And so your job is to paraphrase the steps and present it in more long form without using the imperative. So using the third person, provide an explanation for each step in your own words. So once again, we're going to use lots of paraphrasing strategies. Of course, there are some words that are difficult to paraphrase, or these are the most ideal words, so you don't feel the need you have to change everything. But just like we did with the assignment, try not to copy 4 or more consecutive words from the source text. In addition, as I mentioned, if there are any perhaps tips that you think would be effective for this step, or that might enhance comprehension, or it might raise interest, perhaps include that as well. Okay? Now, for most of the steps, you just kind of have to rephrase it, write it out, third person. However, one step I underlined. So in this case, if you look at the comments, there's potential for problems to arise when conducting this step. Okay? Some of the students in the group might not be engaged in the activity due to low ability, disinterest, or students' individual traits. So as you can see, step 1, asking questions related to the topic, providing reading text. You don't have to paraphrase the reading text. Instead, just provide a brief explanation. So the teacher will provide a reading text about blank. Or the teacher will provide the reading text, which is a letter written by a mother asking for advice about their teenage daughter, something like that. Okay? So once again, you don't need to paraphrase the letter. Okay? But just make sure to include an explanation about what it is. Step 3, ask comprehension checking questions. Step 4, in groups of 4, discuss. Step 5, have each group write a letter to the worried mother using the advice they chose. Each group exchanges the letter with another group and offers comments. Okay, so of course, some problems can arise. As I mentioned, low ability, disinterest, maybe students' individual traits. Of course, we could talk about maybe the actual review. Maybe they might not be equipped to give good comments or good feedback on their own yet, something like that. So whatever the reason might be, considering some of the potential problems that can occur by using this step as it is, try to alter the step, so alter the task. Okay? It could be in terms of the grouping, as opposed to maybe each group write a letter, maybe work in pairs, or individually. That way there's no free riders or something like that. Perhaps teacher could provide some additional, maybe information, handouts, expressions to help them write the letter. In terms of exchanging the letter with another group, maybe providing some sort of checklist or peer review kind of handouts. whatever it is, try to apply a change to that step so that all the students in the group are engaged and can complete the task together, cooperatively. Or, once again, if you want, you can change it to individual work. Okay? So whatever you think will be more beneficial. Okay? And then the rest, 6 and 7, once again, just kind of follow the steps, but once again, rephrase it in your own words.